It's time for the annual March of St. Pat's Madness at the Rutgers Disc Golf Course. This tournament is a yearly tradition that welcomes the start of the spring disc golf season. This year, Mother Nature has thrown a curve to this event, adding a layer of snow on the ground just to make things more interesting. To see who will finish up on top at the end of this year's event, stay tuned as Disc Golf Monthly starts now. Welcome to this month's edition of Disc Golf Monthly. We're at the Rutgers College Disc Golf Course at the annual March of St. Pat's Madness Tournament, and this year will be a year like no other, due to a recent snowfall which has spread 2 to 4 inch layer of snow across the course. To make matters worse, the snow is frozen over at the top layer, which will make it difficult for players to control where the disc will come to a stop. Temperatures are in the low 30s, with winds about 12 miles per hour, making it feel more like it's in the 20s. Today we'll be featuring coverage of the Men's Pro Open Division, and let's take a quick look at the players representing on the lead card. In first place, shooting a 45, we have Lou Garcia from Keansburg, New Jersey. Followed in second place, shooting a 48, we have Matt LaCourte from Milford, New Jersey. And in third place, we have Bob Graham, shooting a 50 from Highland Park, New Jersey. So we have 3 great players from around the state of New Jersey on the lead card today. Lou Garcia will be showing off his mad putting skills, while longtime veteran Rutgers players Matt LaCourte and Bob Graham are right behind. Will Lou have what it takes to keep the lowest score over a pair of legendary players at Rutgers? We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll find out. Don't go away, we'll be right back. And welcome back. We're ready to start off the second round. And we have Lou Garcia ahead with a 3-stroke lead over Matt LaCourte. And Bob Graham is 2 behind Matt with a 50. We're starting off in basket 13. This is a par 3, 303 feet. This is largely an open hole with some trees surrounding the basket. We have Lou teeing off. He's going to get some good distance on that. It's going to get him really close to the pin. And now we have Matt LaCourte with his drive. And Matt's going to keep this much lower to the ground than Lou's drive. It's going to hyzer out on him. He's going to get a little extra stip because of the snow. And there you see the basket. And here we have Lou Garcia. He's going with an approach shot. And looks like he was running at it there. It got him really close. That'll putt. And here is Matt with his second throw. And that catches a trade and gets knocked down very early. And Bob has a little... has a tree to contend with there, but he's going to hyzer around that and lay up. He'll get his 3. Here's Matt. He came up short with his second shot. He's got to work for this par. And he hits the chains rather high, but it drops down into the bucket. And here's Bob with his third shot. He's shooting for par. And he just doesn't get enough pressure applied to the chains, and it drops out on him. So starting out, we have Lou and Matt with pars and Bob with a bogey. And we're moving on to basket 14. This is a par 3, 220 feet. So we're largely going to be playing from the long tees today. We have Lou driving. And he shoots that gap very nicely. And that will skip up to the basket for him. And here we have Matt LaCourte. Matt's drive. He gets a little too much turn, and then he kicks off a tray. Here we have Bob with his drive. Bob gets that very high shot. It's hyzering out. But I'll get him opening up and have a good position to lay up. Bob just floats one out there, and he makes the putt. That is the first birdie of the round in the group. And Lou gets his first birdie of the round. And so now Lou takes a 4-stroke lead over Matt. And Bob is now two strokes behind Matt as we move on to basket 15. This is a par 3, 190 feet. This is a basket that is constantly changing due to the trees that are coming down. This hole is much different than it was in years past. It's becoming more open. Bob just hyzers one out. So everybody's trying to get around that thin tree up the middle here to hyzer it in. And Matt's going to try to play the same route, but he's going to get a much lower shot. This no's going to work for him as he's going to skip up to the basket. Here he is shooting for his birdie. And he just drops it right in there. And that would be the first birdie of the round for Matt. And we have Lou shooting for birdie as well. And that'll be birdie number 2 for Lou Garcia. And Matt now is 3 strokes ahead of Bob once again. As we move on to basket 16, this is a par 3, 204 feet. And Lou is driving. He's going with the sidearm. And that'll skip up to the basket for him. There we have Matt LaCourte. That's going to throw another low shot. This is looking really good. Oh, and it just skips off the rim. That would have been fantastic. 204 ace shot. But it just didn't stay in the cage. Here's Bob with his birdie shot, and he just floats it out there. Here goes Lou Garcia. He's putting for birdie number 3 here. And he makes it. Matt LaCourte's also putting for birdie. This will be his second birdie of the round. And so no change between Lou and Matt, but Bob is now 4 strokes away from Matt as we move on to basket 17. This is a par 3, 192 feet. And Lou once again has the box. And that's going to hyzer off to him. Now here you have Matt with his drive. And here we have Bob Graham with his drive on hole 17. Bob's going to stand and deliver. And that's going to hyzer off for him. Here's Bob with his second shot. And Bob kicks off a tree very early. There's Lou Garcia with his second shot. And Lou records birdie number 4 with that putt. So of the 5 baskets we played so far, Lou has only not made a birdie on 1 of them. Here's Matt with his second shot. Matt is also going to record a birdie. That is his third birdie of the round. And now Matt is 5 strokes ahead of Bob, and no change between Lou and Matt. As we move on to basket 18, this is a par 3, 202 feet. Rather simple hole here. You just have to be careful not to overshoot the basket or you will go OB.
Okay.
And hard to see where that landed, but it looked pretty good. Matt is going with a sidearm shot. He's going to get a lot of turn off that. And it looks like he stayed in bounds with that shot.
Couldn't see the tail, but I don't think it's just short. Yeah.
Bob's going to stand deliver with his drive.
Wow.
And he's going to float one out there. That looks pretty good. And Matt's the furthest out. And Matt records his 4th birdie of the round. Here's Bob. He's shooting for his 2nd birdie. And it just stays in. It looks like it flipped in the right direction for him. Lou Garcia shooting for his 5th birdie of the round. And he makes it. So birdies for the group. As we move on to basket 1, this is a par 3, 333 feet. This is an open shot once you get beyond these hedges that are out in front of the fairway, as you can see just up ahead. Lou gets enough air on that. He may have got a little too much turn, but that looks like it'll putting in putting range. The way he's putting, wouldn't surprise me if he gets a 2 here. Here's Matt with his drive. He's going to be a little low. He's going to get batted down by the by those bushes. And here's Bob with his drive.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do.
And Bob looks like he cleared that.
Hook up there. Yeah, just come back.
Matt's going to throw a sidearm shot. He's going to try and turn it over here. And that works for him. And that's right in his wheelhouse for his putting game. Here's Bob. He's laying up. Here's Lou Garcia going for birdie number 6. And that's just going to chain out on him. It's too far to the right, and it just didn't get enough of the chains, and it didn't stay in. Here he's parting for 3, and he makes it. Pars around for the group as we move on to basket 2. This is a par 3, 165 feet. This pin position, there's a little bit of trees that you have to worry about on your immediate right, and as you approach the basket to your left, you can see this is a different basket than the pin position you're used to throwing to. They brought out a temporary basket. It's a little bit further away, but not by much. There's Matt with his drive. He gets up very high, and he catches all, gets caught up on some limbs, gets knocked down a little early. Here's Bob with his drive. Bob's going to keep this, started out very low, but it got up on him, and it made it through that opening. Here's Matt with his 2nd shot.
Get up.
And it just doesn't get up in the air high enough. And Lou Garcia, he's looking for birdie number 6. And it just chains out on him. Bob Graham got the furthest drive in the group, and he just putts a little low. So once again, no birdies for the group as everybody just makes par. As we move on to basket number 3, this is a par 3 at 280 feet. This is more of a sidearm turnover shot friendly layout, but a lot of players will go with a hyzer shot, as it looks like Lou is going to try. And he does, and he shoots that gap very nicely. It may have skipped a little too far away from the basket. We'll have to see how close that leaves him. Matt's also going in the backhand shot here. And Bob gets knocked down early. He's going to throw an Anheuser shot. And that will putt for him. Here's Lou. And he finally gets that sixth birdie of the round. As we close out the front nine of this round, Lou Garcia with 6 birdies. Matt LaCourte right behind with 5 birdies. And Lou has a 4-stroke lead over Matt. As we move on to the back nine here, starting off on basket 4, this is a par 3, 175 feet. He's going to go with a sidearm shot with a lot of hyzer. And that should drop down very nicely for him. Here's Matt. Another sidearm shot. And now we have Bob, the only one in the group throwing a backhand. He's going out there with an Anheuser shot.
Good adjustment.
And Matt was furthest out. And he kicked off the rim low. Here's Bob with his putt. Bob just bounces off the chains and this does not stay in. And here we're going to have Lou Garcia. This is birdie number 7 he's going for. And now Lou has a 5-stroke lead over Matt. As we move on to basket 5, this is a par 3, 252 feet. And here we have Lou Garcia, first on the tee, as he has been all around so far. He throws a very low shot. And here's Matt. That gets a nice amount of turn. And he gets a lucky kick off the tree. That looked like it had enough. There's out of bounds just beneath the basket on a walking path. Bob just throws one out there. Bob gets knocked down early. Here he is with his approach shot. He floats it out there. It's got a hyzer away on him. And he's going to get a lucky push towards the basket, so he's going to have an easy putt from there. Here's Lou with his putt. And he floats one out there. Lou records his 8th birdie of the round. Amazing. While Matt picks up his 6th birdie of the round. Now we're moving on to basket 6. This is a par 3, 310 feet. And this is playing down the macadam here, the walkway. And you just have to be careful, get enough distance so you can clear those 3 trees up ahead. The basket's just beyond there. You have to be careful not to go too far because there is out of bounds just beyond the basket. A little over 30 feet away. And Matt looks like he lets go of that a little early. Here's Bob's drive. Lou is in an area that ordinarily would be out of bounds. But with this layout, this is not considered out of bounds. And he lays up. And Matt just lays up as well. And now we're moving on to basket 7. This is a par 3, 330 feet. And this is a slightly densely wooded hole here. You have that little gap up the middle. As you can see, though, Luke Garcia is just going to try to hyze around that, and he gets knocked down a little early. Matt also looks like he's going to go the hyzer route through that gap off to the right. And he hits it, a very low shot. We'll see what that leaves him with a skip. And Matt's just going to lay up for a second shot. He puts it out there nice and high, and it drops very nicely. So there's not going to be any birdies once again for the second hole in this group. And another hole where we have pars around. So we're moving on to basket 8. This is a par 3, 250 feet. This is a shot where you have a couple different options. You could go down the middle of the backhand shot if you're right-handed. But if you're sidearm friendly, you could also throw a sidearm shot and play down the walking path and have it hyzer and skip back in for you. Lou's going to go down the middle. This is going to carry a little far for him, but he's well within putting range for his accuracy. And we have Matt LaCourte on the tee. Matt's also looks like he's going down the middle. He keeps it low, and that's going to work very nicely for him. Lou well overshot the basket with his drive. He's playing back. And it just stays in. It just drops over the rim and stays in. Here's Matt with his second shot. And for Lou, that was his 9th birdie of the round, while Matt just scored his 7th birdie of the round. So we have another star frame with everybody getting a birdie. And now we're moving on to basket 9. This is a par 3, 120 feet. And Lou just hyzers out a sidearm shot very nicely. Matt's going with the backhand shot, but he looks like he's going to try and turn this over. And he does. Have to see if that gave him any roll back to the basket, possibly. Here's Bobby. Looks like he's taking the same route Matt did, and he does. And this is going to hyzer back for him very nicely. He'll have an easy putt for 2 there. Lou Garcia got up the hill a little too far. He's got to play back. An amazing putting game by Lou. Recording his 10th birdie of the round. And here's Matt with his shot for par. And for birdie rather, and he misses. And we have Bob recording his another birdie. So now Lou has a 4-stroke lead, or 6-stroke lead over Matt as we move on to basket 10, par 3, 259 feet. So Lou has officially scored half the round is going to be birdies for Lou Garcia. Very amazing with his drive here. It's going to play very nicely for him. He may be well within his range to get another birdie, to get his 11th of the round. Here's Bob with his drive. That's a nice turn to it, a turnover, but it faded out at the end. Here's Matt LaCourte with his drive. Matt tried to split that gap, and he did so very nicely. There's Bob, and he just gets a little too high. He misses the basket. Here's Matt LaCourte with his second shot. And Matt makes the putt for his 8th birdie of the round. You have Bob Graham putting for par. And he makes it. So Matt and Lou now has 11 birdies while Matt has 8. As we move on to basket 11, this is a par 3, 171 feet. We have Lou Garcia on the box. He just sets a low shot out there. And Matt LaCourte. Matt's going to get a little higher in the air. He's not going to get any hyzer back. He's going to have to play back to the pen. And here's Bob Graham with his first shot. And he puts that in nicely. Lou records his 12th birdie of the round. Amazing. And here's Matt also shooting for birdie. This will be his 8th. And he makes it. 8 birdies for Matt LaCourte. Rather, excuse me, that's 9 birdies for Matt LaCourte. So Matt has officially scored enough birdies. He scored half the round at this point. We're moving on to our last hole. This is basket 12. It's a par 3, 202 feet. As you see, we have a little bit of out of bounds to contend with just behind the basket. Lou's just going to go with a hyzer shot. It's going to hyzer out a little bit at the end. He splits that gap very nicely. Matt LaCourte plays the same route. Looks like Bob's going to come at this with an Anheuser backhand route, and he flips that over very nicely. We'll have to see if how that's lined to the basket. As we see Matt LaCourte, here he is with his second shot. And Matt finishes strong with a birdie. That's his 10th birdie of the round. And here is our 2017 March of St. Pat's Madness at Rutgers. Lou Garcia putting for his 13th birdie of the round. An amazing round for Lou. As we see the players congratulate each other at the end of the round. Well, I will have it. We have Lou Garcia finishing with a 6-stroke lead over Bob Graham and Matt LaCourte. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, that was some finish for Lou Garcia as he put on a putting clinic, recording 13 birdies to walk away with a 6-stroke win over Matt LaCourte. Lou doubled his lead by the end of the round. Matt did his best to keep up shooting 10 birdies, but it was no match for the Matt's putting skills of Lou. Well, that's all the time we have for this month's show, everyone. Join us next month for another edition of Disc Golf Monthly, the show that takes you one step closer to the sport of disc golf.